Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Absolutely Not Podcast. Very excited for today's guest. I'm going to let these two ladies introduce themselves in a second, just because if you're listening to this on audio, which most of you do, I don't want it to be confusing for you. Like there's going to be a lot of people entering the space here in a minute, but I need you to meet two of my favorite gals in the entire world, new fast friends. Who would like to go first? Dirty Dre?
Okay, hey.
She said it.
I mean, once you say Dirty Dre, we already know what's going on.
We already know what's going on.
Right. What's going on? I'm Andrea Lopez. I comedian, actor, been a long time fan and just lover of the Heather world, the sphere. So going on the cruise was an absolute blast for me. You may know me from my Teresa Giudice impressions, Housewives, Kourtney Kardashian, Jennifer Coolidge, and occasionally Sofia Vergara. So, all right, I'm so excited to be here. I traveled all the way from Jersey, Patterson. I'm from Patterson, but not anymore. But anyway, I love Heather.
Love. Anna?
How do I top that? Good evening. Hi, I'm Anna Roisman. I'm also a comedian, actor, former cruise participant.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess Dre and I have a podcast called Big Wigs, and I do a lot of impressions too. You may know me from my Steve Brady impression from Sex and the City. It's really just a Miranda. There you go.
Great.
Yeah, I moonlight as Hilaria Baldwin, and I don't know. I do a couple other Kris Jenner. The world is opened up to me with wigs. So yeah.
Here's the deal. The reason I love y'all is obviously because you're two of the most hysterical women I've ever met, but you remind me of when I was in a positive space. When I was not burnt out, crashed out,
Right.
and still had joy and light behind my eyes.
Right.
Because I miss doing my impressions. I miss doing characters. I miss putting on wigs. That was my joy, and I need to get back to that. And I don't know if I just need to cancel everything and we just have maybe we go into the woods. We did it on the cruise ship, but maybe we just go into the woods and we start putting on new wigs.
Yeah, we do a cabin.
Yeah, we do a cabin. We do a cabin. It's a house of horrors.
Yes, yeah.
Because if anybody were to come by and see us just doing random impersonations, they'd be
We'd
like,
be safe. Okay. Yeah, we'd be fine. They'd be like, these women are fucking crazy.
Hold on, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to stretch out these new jeans I got from Zara. Really went wild with the camel color. I never
like
do
them.
light jeans below.
Yeah, I'm liking this color though.
Thank you. Well, I'm in a weird spot because it's a cropped. I like to show off my thin ankles, but it's a crop.
Thin ankles.
But my husband was like, these jeans do make your legs look like just weird, chunky drumsticks.
No,
so I'm in a bad spot.
I want to chomp
Never
on
ask
down on
the
those.
men. You know what I mean?
But I trust the men because Jeff's like a sweetheart. And
Yeah,
he's honest.
he is.
He'll be like, I don't know what we're doing here,
Right. Right.
Okay, but enough about me and my insecurities and my, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. People don't realize where we record this is in Times Square, and it's a journey, it's a fucking trek to get here.
Right.
Dirty Dre.
That
you
alone.
think it's like
I don't
5
know why
minutes.
you're dirty, but I'm
Dirty Dre. No, I'm
Dirty Dre.
Yeah, I've had Drizzly, I've had Dirty.
Yeah, what are all your nicknames?
Do you remember that? She tried to get me to call her Drizzly on the podcast, and I go, it just doesn't work. It doesn't come out for me. Drizzly. You're like, no, everyone called me Drizzly in college.
Drizzly. Yeah, everyone. It's either Drizzly, Dirty Dre, Drizzy.
Drizzy.
Yep.
I like Drizzy.
Went through a high school Drizzy phase.
Everybody went through a Drizzy phase.
We were saying, what's up, my snizzle?
Yeah,
Drizzy.
yeah.
It kind of matched with that. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
She listened to Snoop Dogg. She was really feeling it.
But we denounce P. Diddy, so just want you to know where we stand.
Yeah.
on
Are you
record.
following the trial?
I am, but everything I know is against my will. I open up my phone
Yeah,
and it's a
same.
new fact that I'm pissed about. I
Yeah.
said, I didn't want to, it's 6 a.m. I didn't want to know about who peed in whose mouth. It's a little graphic, I'm sorry.
I'm watching this woman who is clearly at her day job, and she's sitting in a cubicle, and she's whispering. It's kind of ASMRing every detail from the courtroom.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm obsessed with it. My husband's like, who the fuck are you listening to whispering about horrific things? I'm like, my show's on. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to this woman. She clearly is like an insurance broker, maybe works at a auto body shop, and she's just sitting in her cubicle whispering every single detail, and I'm dialed in.
You're gonna be like, I knew her when. Elf Cosmetics is gonna hit her up and be like, we want to send you on a brand trip. We love your work.
Can I tell you?
2020.
I just thought about this the other day because I feel like we, the three of us, we
Tell me.
would crush a brand trip.
Crush.
Okay. Oh,
They're sending people who don't even want to make the content. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I will content myself from the toilet on a brand trip with Elle.
Whatever we
What
need
do you
to
want
sell.
the brand to be? Vagisil? I will show you. I will show myself putting a vaginal suppository and explain just how itchy and irritated this puss is.
But
I
to
did
a
a-
good beat. You
To
know?
a great beat. To a really up, like a trendy song. Yeah.
Absolutely. I did a squatty potty audition. Really thought I nailed that one.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Did you have to
I just had to give the
out?
audible. They just said audibly it was for a voiceover role. So you already
Okay.
know I'm doing the audible sounds when you're squatting on a potty.
Uh-huh.
So it's just a lot of moaning. I channeled Jennifer Coolidge. And feeling one coming on. And I didn't book the job, but I really think we could kill a squatty potty sponsorship.
A squatty potty, has tons of money.
Yeah.
Poopery. We could do a poopery brand trip.
Would crush.
Yes.
And it would be somewhere. We're not doing like a shape tape tart. We're going to Fiji.
Right,
It would
right.
be a little bit more like we're in Bosnia Herzegovina.
There you go.
But we're squatty pottying somewhere in Eastern Europe.
The trip starts out with me just being like, I haven't had a glass of real milk in 17 years.
We have to talk about all your ailments because we went to dinner the other night.
Yeah.
We went to dinner and it was.
Can I just say,
Yes.
you ordered amazing, and
Thank you.
I never make it about me. I'm one of those people that's had food issues for so long that I'm like, no, you guys all get whatever you want. I will eat something. I will find something. I hate when people make it about them. So thank you for being a cool friend.
I just want you to know that I really am receiving that and I'm taking the compliment.
I'm
because
nervous,
Other
yeah.
friends in my life say I bully people at restaurants, but I asked you, I said, what are your ailments? And you said gluten-free and dairy-free. And I had some nice protein and vegetables.
She hooked it up.
I made sure it was hooked up.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Anytime.
Yeah, I ate great. It was
I
a great
let you drink
steak.
3 martinis and that was it. You got
I
6
didn't.
olives.
Yeah, I didn't
protein
make it
with the
home
olives.
actually. I didn't get home, but it was so fun.
Nobody can shit on your ordering skills though because you you got it down pat.
Yeah.
And then you know how to order a dirty martini as well.
I was always trying to think about the famous question of what's your party trick? My party trick, or like what's your secret talent? My secret talent is curating a restaurant experience.
Yes.
I love
I'm not great at making the reservations, and it's because my name carries no weight. So it's better off.
know how,
It's
but
better if I use Jeff's name because people think it's Jeff Daniels, the actor from Newsroom,
Perfect.
and Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
They don't realize they're like Heather McMahan, who doesn't work. So as long as you can get the reservation. Let me curate the experience and I'll pay for it. It's fine. I'm happy to throw down the card.
I love that.
I felt like I was like, I'm in the posse. She just threw down the card. Like I
Well,
was
no,
loving
we
it.
all did hard work on the cruise, and I hadn't seen y'all. The least I could do is buy his dinner.
I got
Phenomenal.
the Jeff Daniels, someone like, because I tagged him in something on the cruise.
Yeah.
They were like, Jeff Daniels is on this cruise.
Yeah.
What other people are on this
I
thing?
go, yeah, the
Yeah.
only one.
The only one.
Let them
only one.
find him,
Could you also
Yeah.
imagine like the Jeff Daniels? Because he's such a serious guy.
Right.
Like just hanging out, smoking cigs on the cruise. He may have loved it. I
He
don't
probably
know.
would.
think
He probably
so.
would rock like a Hawaiian shirt or something.
yeah.
He probably has it in him.
So what have y'all been up to since I last saw you, which was 2 weeks ago? And let's talk about our
weeks
experience.
ago.
So we have to backtrack. So
Yeah.
we're new friends
Yeah.
in comedy. I've obviously been stalking y'all's characters forever. And then when the cruise was coming around, we were like, listen, please just join on, hop on board. Literally, the ship was pulling out of the port. Next thing I know, you guys are grabbing to the side of the boat.
like, "We're
I was
ready!"
like,
Yes.
I don't know if we have contracts for them, but sure, here they are. And
Yeah.
I never got one.
those don't
Did
exist.
we actually sign? Tina
No.
made sure it happened though.
No, they
Tina was
thought
on
we
it.
were one
Oh, yeah.
person. And we kept being like, no, we're 2 people.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They just combined us into one entity. I
Also,
said, that's
sorry
fine.
about my cough. It sounds ferocious, but it's actually doing much better.
Good. Honestly, I am just one sniffle away just from
no.
telling everybody to fuck off
No.
and never leaving my house. So I love that.
I'm good.
But you came on the cruise.
Yeah.
You absolutely crushed it. I had so many people reach out and they're like, I didn't know the girls. They were so much fun. And obviously y'all are wildly popular individually and together on TikTok and Instagram. But I just feel like, it's so fun to open up people to a new audience.
It was so fun.
What was your biggest takeaway from the cruise?
Oh my gosh, just how big the McMahanics are. That
Yeah.
it extends so far, and the universe you've created. I just love that there was something for everyone on that boat. And I also made friends.
Yeah.
I did, and I expected to, but everybody was so welcoming, so fun, and just down to get down.
Yeah.
That was it. That was my
what
biggest
loved.
takeaway. I
Yeah.
thought in my brain, I'm like, all right, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have a bunch of women on our show.
We're all gonna be
So
drunk.
the
Yeah.
amount of women that are gonna be fucking annoying is probably gonna be high. And everybody just didn't give a fuck and had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say that to people. I'm like, when you go on vacations or if you go on any other boat or cruise or whatever, there are going to be families and people are going to be pissed off and they're fighting or there's couples who are angry at each other or they're getting too drunk or whatever.
Right.
It was like camp for me. It was like pure joy. Everywhere you go, people are just fucking amped to be there.
Just
They're
drinking
so
spritzes.
They're excited. If there's
Playing
a line
poker.
to get into a show, they don't care. They're fucking double fisting outside. They're like, yeah, this is fucking great. Am I going to pass out during the show? Maybe. But you know what? That's why I signed up.
That's why we signed up.
Yeah.
Now, talk about y'all's backstory. How long have you been doing the Big Wigs podcast?
Two and a half years.
Mm-hmm.
And side note, we talked about this. We had a little business meeting. We
Yeah.
got to get you signed.
Right.
So, dear media, anybody listening, these women are incredible. They need a big contract.
We're sitting on hundreds of hours of footage of us in wigs that we haven't edited. So, yeah.
We need your help.
We're teeing it up. We're getting it there.
Yeah.
But how did y'all
2.5
meet
years.
in the comedy world?
Anna's great at answering this question because I always forget minor details.
Well, we I'm gonna say this. I'm way younger than Andrea.
Okay.
Obviously. So she's been around and around.
I make references. Anna's like, what? Never heard of it.
No, I'll be like, have you heard of the Backstreet Boys? And she's like, who? And I'm like, I gotta kill myself now. No, realistically, I'm a little older, but I was in New York City for a very long time.
not really, yeah.
She was here. She was in LA. We both were on a show together for BuzzFeed.
God,
where-
BuzzFeed were the pure days.
where we were,
Man, if you made it on a BuzzFeed countdown list, you were like, dude, next stop, fucking outer space.
Yeah. It was like a full
blown
photo
up.
with like, like images over your face, but you made it.
You made it.
So we were doing this BuzzFeed show and we were both like talking heads on it. So we had to do like pop culture references and we had to do jokes about it. And there were a couple other comedians on the show, but like we both we liked each other. Yeah, I was like, okay, she dressed cute for this, you know.
Some people would roll in. I go, what hole did you come
Yeah,
out? You're
like,
on BuzzFeed. Dress the part.
And we never worked together. That's the best. We
Right.
always shot separately, so it was only in passing. And then I had a podcast, or have a podcast, she's on hiatus, called Unemployed with Anna Roisman. And Andrea was a guest on my show, and we just kind of hit it off. I was like, I want you to come on. Like, we both do impressions. I was a huge fan of her Kourtney Kardashian.
Yes, so good.
And, we just like liked each other. And I was like, and then we both guested on a lot of shows, the same shows. Taylor Strecker, we're always on Taylor's show.
Always shout out to Taylor. We
Shout
love
out to Taylor.
Tasty Taylor. She's so tasty.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
I'll tell
sorry.
you, that lesbian meat, succulent.
It is.
Yeah.
And Taylor was like, you should do your wigged characters. And we were both doing the wigs. And we were the only guests on the show who did these characters. So we were like, we should do our own show. This will be so fun. So then we decided to start Big Wigs.
And that's it.
Yeah, and we talked about just the big wig moments and always feeling like you're not doing enough. So it was a mixture of pop culture impressions and then those big wig moments in your career.
I love
where,
that.
Where you're like, we did it.
And then
did
we
it.
improv in a wig for 12 minutes every
Right,
time.
exactly.
And that's always a wild time.
Also, I love that your initial connection, because that's also why I loved y'all, is when you saw each other and you were like, you guys dress cute. It's in the comedy space. It is like I feel like women are in two separate boxes. It's either you're wearing no makeup, and it has no reference to like your sexual orientation. It's just it's the girlies who are either full glam or not at all, and that's the way I feel. I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable in a pair of jeans right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is cutting off circulation. I don't know what this outfit is. I thought I got cute jeans from Zara, and I'm like, this is not my look.
No, you
know
look
what I
cute.
mean?
You've got the sweater tied around
I
your
did
neck.
this because it's covering everything that is smushed together underneath this t-shirt.
One thing about Heather, you always got something fresh. I used to watch your Instagram stories. I said, oh, new hat, new sunglasses. Like, you're always accessorizing to the nines.
You can't go on Instagram and a repeat.
Yeah, you can't.
But I loved how you would just do an Instagram story at like 8 in the morning, sipping on a little espresso from a beautiful china glass.
Yeah.
And then you would have a nice little trucker hat. I said, I've never seen that one before. Must be new. And you're just always debuting the new shit. And I immediately.
See, when you're heavy, you have to buy accessories. Because I usually get orders from Shopbop and Zara, and I'm like, one thing fit. So you know what I can always buy? Accessories.
Accessories work.
And if my ears get fat, then we're fucked. But yes, accessories work.
Let me tell you one thing.
But I like a little something. I like a little bedazzlement. That's just me. That's who I am.
I love that about you. I do.
So we're all fabulous, obviously very attractive women in comedy, and y'all are both based in New York.
Based in New York now, yep.
Yeah. And what is like, listen, I usually do this at the end of the podcast, so I feel like we should just jump right into it. What is the vision board? Like, what do you want to do? Because I really believe in like an oral manifestation of talking it out and figuring out what we want to do. Let's just get it out in the open.
Yeah. You go first.
Drizzly?
Drizzly.
Dirty Drink, you got
She deferred to me for the BuzzFeed origin marriage story. I said, go, Driz.
Yeah, now I'm asking you, what are your hopes and dreams?
After
How
this
would
podcast,
you like to fix the problems in the Middle East?
Right. I go, let's start with a loaded question here. What do you want in life? I just want to be able to make people laugh and be able to buy myself dinner. I just want to be able to survive in this economy and still do what I love, which is just being silly. I think we always had that same mindset.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy the finer things in life. I'd love to be able to go on into Tuscany and you know, and
it's coming.
Right? And so it's working in comedy. It's writing my family story. I'm working on that, probably a short film first, and then actual writing the full movie out. But I come from a multicultural family full of hilarious people, and I would love to get them an actual. I want to put that into a project.
And what cultures?
So I'm half
Because I didn't want to pinpoint
Well,
you.
actually, so we were at dinner, and Heather stops the whole conversation. She goes, "Hey, Drizzly,
we're like mid-tartar. She's like, 1 second.
hold on right now. Stop it. Skirt, skirt.
Yeah.
What the hell are you, kid?"
I think you said, what's your background?
I said, what's your background?
Right.
Listen,
Yeah.
the kids on TikTok say you can't ask,
Right,
where
right.
are your people from? All right?
Right. No, I totally get it. And I get a couple of different things. But my dad is Mexican and my mom is mostly German and a little Dominican. So I could pass for a couple things.
And that's why you're drizzly.
That's why we're drizzly, mixing up a little craziness, you know? But it used to be SNL, I will say, which we all talk about. You know, that was the thing.
That was the dream.
That was a dream. I've auditioned 5 times. And you get to a certain point where you just go, well, you know, maybe it's still on the vision board, but there's other things I'd like to do, you know? I'll just take a job.
At this point, honestly, you'll audition 55 more times and Lauren will somehow, Lauren will still be running the show. And you're like, it'll be 2040 and you're like, how is this guy not died?
He's done cryotherapy chambers. I go, what is he doing to stay looking the same that he's
Human
looked
growth
for 40
hormone.
years? Yeah, something. So it's just to continue doing what I love, doing continuing voices, making more characters, original characters, and if I could make a sketch show with all my friends and just put all my friends in a show, I think that'd be the ultimate dream.
That's a dream. And I'll tell you right now, going out and selling TV shows, like I always go back to sketch. I'm like, I just want to do my own sketch show.
Right.
And they're like, it's not in the market right now. We're not buying sketch shows. And you're like,
Right.
just put it on.
Yeah,
you
doesn't
don't
matter.
even know what you want. You want you want a reboot and a remake of the same shit.
Exactly.
So you want to tell your story about your Dominican, German, Mexican family.
Yep.
Wear some more wigs.
Good
And
job.
be able to afford a 3-week vacation in Tuscany.
Yes, and
At a 5-star resort.
At a 5-star, yeah. Throw that in there. Just
I like
having
that.
fun and maybe get sponsored by Boar's Head because I love charcuterie. You want to talk about a sponsorship
Just
that
throw
I want?
that in.
Boar's Head.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
And when there's a place in Georgia called
We all
it's a
could
Publix.
do Boar's Head.
We talked about this with your husband, actually.
Oh, you talked about Publix? This sounds about right.
We talked about.
Yeah, he recommended the best sandwiches. We gotta get.
Pub subs are really good. It's big in Florida. That's probably always recommending. Is like, if you're getting off the boat, go to a Publix. You're in Miami. There's a
love
billion
Jeff.
places you could go to lunch. And Jeff's like, go find a Publix supermarket and get the good Boar's Head.
And this was after doing a 7-second shotgun of
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah.
And he was like, head to Publix also.
Yeah.
It was
I
great. It
like
was great.
that guy. Yeah,
I love him. Love him.
But that is, I'm a Boar's Head girl too, through
Yeah.
and through. They even had a they had a little situation with their
hiccup.
liverwurst. They had a hiccup with their liverwurst recently. And I think it had a little listeria. And I was like, guys, first of all, who the fuck's ordering liverwurst? Okay,
Not
that's
the
your first
liverwurst.
problem.
Yeah,
My dad actually.
Your dad?
We're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's keeping them in business.
Is that on the pate adjacent
Yes.
line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Liverwurst.
And I don't know if it's spreadable. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's chunky. But either way, Boar's Head got a bad rap there. And I was the only one standing in line at Publix going, I want, because you need to get the Publix brand meat or Boar's Head. It's Boar's Head or bust, baby.
It is. You see? That's why we're getting sponsored.
That's what we're getting sponsored
That's
by
the slogan.
Boar's Head.
Yeah.
And what is your go-to meat of choice? Just so we know, the audience needs to paint. They need a real solid picture of what Drizzly likes to eat.
Absolutely. Anna and I are famously, we go to a deli, we know what our meat cuts are. I love a spicy sopressata.
Same.
So sopressata, and it's got to be the thin. Okay, I'm talking like so thin that you can't even, it almost falls apart when you pick it up.
I love this.
And then some yummy, maybe 24 aged prosciutto, because I don't like it too salty. Once it gets to like the 42, you get lost in that
Yeah, I
salt.
switched to San Daniele in my older age.
San Daniele is nice. Maybe a nice
Braziole.
braziole.
Stand and yell at your bus.
San Daniele or bus.
Because at our age,
The
we're
Dalava, I'm on it.
Oh, the Dalava. Yeah.
Okay.
We're getting to the point where even if you have like a really sharp pecorino
yeah.
and that nutty salty, I can't get my rings off the
Yeah.
next day. Yeah, so I feel you.
Blow up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The queen.
my
Vision
turn.
board. What is your vision board?
My vision board has always been to host a late night show
Yeah.
or a daytime show.
Well, guess what?
Absolutely.
There's no women in late night.
Let me just say, after that last episode of Hacks, I was really turned on.
I know. I just watched it.
Oof. It was like... it was like
it
crushing all of our dreams, pretty much. No, I did. I always wanted to like be a Jimmy Kimmel, but I'm going to say this, and this might go over someone's head, like a James Corden, because I sing and I act and I like to do sketches and be characters and stuff. I always wanted a place to do all of that. So that was always on my vision board. You know, I love to do a daytime show, anything. I like interviewing people. I like interacting with people. I also write. I hope I can sell my movie this year. That's what I'm trying to do.
Is your movie about your blended family as well?
No, it is not about
What is your
my
background?
Family. Although I do have a project.
Other than strong Jew.
We're going to go with strong Caucasian Jew.
Love it. Yes.
No, I do have a project about my family because I don't know if you know my fun fact. Whenever I go into a new room, my fun fact, I'm related to a serial killer. So I am doing a project about my family.
Are you allowed to say which serial killer?
Absolutely, because he was very famous. I don't know if you ever watched The Jinx on
Yes.
HBO, but my mom is Lee Durst and my grandfather's cousin was Robert Durst.
Your grandmother's?
My grandfather.
Grandfather's cousin.
Yeah.
So did you watch The Jinx in like horror?
I watched it not knowing the full story. I had seen All Good Things, the Robert Durst movie with Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst. But when The Jinx first came out, my grandmother, who was still alive back then, was like, I can't even leave my apartment building. Like, they're going to know who I am. And I was like, no, they don't really care who, they don't know who you are. She's like, it's my name. You know, he's a murderer. And like, she was all worried. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever learned about myself in my life. Like, this was confirmed everything for me, you know, to be related to a serial killer.
Also, great. Now I can hear it in your voice. You need to do an impression of him.
I know. Well, that's the project we're working on.
Okay.
But yeah. So there's
like a Robert Durst comedy.
No, there's a Durst you know, I've been doing Steve for so long, it's like in my blood. But there is a Durst project I'm working on right now.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Now, is any
That's not the horror movie, though.
Any relation to Fred Durst?
No.
Not the same Durst.
Famously, I think might be okay. You know what I mean? Like my mom, she's Dr. Durst. She's a dentist. And like her patients, when the Jinx came out, I'd be like, do they ask you? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, did they ever ask you about Fred Durst? She's like, no.
That's disappointing. I think it's more of a gold star to wear on your jacket to be like, I'm related to the lead singer of Limp Bizkit. You know? Like Robert, like a serial killer, that's really fun table talk. Yeah. But Limp Bizkit, it's all about the nookie. Yeah. I mean, Drizzly knows.
I know. If somebody knows, it's me.
The best is when the Jinx came out, I was an assistant for a venture capital firm, and they were they were like, wait, we don't understand. Like, why are you here? Aren't you rich? And I was like, no, I've never met these people in my life. Right. I need this job. I need health insurance. And they were like, okay, got it. Like, I don't know. I don't understand.
What is the worst survival job you've had to work on the come up in comedy? Because folks only see what they want to see online. They don't realize that behind every successful comedian was 1,000 hours of just grit, grimes. We're still doing it. I mean, we're sweating in Times Square right now. I'm going to get up and this camel-colored seat is going to be wet because my cortisol is through the roof and I sweat from my pussy now. So that's my personal journey. But
it all blends in. We're on safari actually with a nice camel. Yeah. I like it.
We're all feeling it right now.
We are. You know? It's a little sticky in here. So what was your worst survival job?
Oof. I have had many. I started working at a florist shop. That was like my youngest job at like 12 because they would let me sweep up the leaves. But I was a temp for
Child
a little
labor law should have been looked at.
Maybe I shouldn't have told my age there. I was like 12 going on. Right, okay. I was a temp and I went into, every day was a different job. So, you know, you got fully into contact. And I'm from DC, so born and raised in Washington, DC. And one time I know nothing about history. I am really bad with dates. And I had to do the presidential tour around.
Yeah, she thought we were recording tomorrow.
Washington, DC. Oh, terrible with dates. And so I get this job and I have to be there in an hour, dressed fully in speaking of camel, I had to dress fully in like a camel. I had to wear a hat so they know I'm the tour guide, obviously. And I was trying to memorize all these facts about which house, you know, the White House, the history, and then you'd walk around downtown by the monuments, and I had to know the history. I mean, I made up half of it. Thank God. That's where my improv skills came in, because I really was just,
that's good.
You know?
Also, that seems like a very odd thing to temp in for.
Doesn't it?
Is having to be like a Smithsonian history buff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. That's concerning. How many other like important jobs are people temping in for?
Probably everything.
Congress, just every day.
Like, nobody is qualified for anything that they're doing because it's a temp. Yeah, so I was working with a temp agency for probably like a couple months. And, you know, I had a lot of interesting jobs. Yeah, but that was probably my most interesting.
Did you ever
where
get
I
like a
said-
ghost tour? You're just doing like.
Oh my God.
I would die if you were dressed like a founding father and you were like at the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Is
Right.
it the Jefferson Memorial?
Sure.
Sounds
There's
about
one of
right.
them, yeah.
Yeah, there's one of them.
Abraham
It's a tall
Lincoln,
dildo
Jefferson-
one.
of them.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
obelisk. Yeah. I would love if you were doing like dressed as a founding father.
Yeah.
But you're Mexican, German,
They're like, why is
Dominican.
Sacagawea leading this tour right now? What is happening? She's like a couple blending too dark here. I don't know what's
I'd take
happening.
your tour.
Yeah, I would be.
Thank
I would
you.
be front row. I'd be asking questions. I would tip heavily. Yeah.
I always got frustrated by the people that asked way too many questions. I was like, and that's enough from you, okay? Because you're stealing the tour. Anybody else with a question?
Yeah, I'd
'Cause
be
you're
like,
getting
just so
deep
you
into
know,
this.
I did tours once. Just so you know, it's 20% is really nice to tip this
Yeah.
for me. And they'd
Yeah.
be like, what? Tip? Oh.
Yeah.
And where are you giving tours? Where were you giving tours?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I worked in restaurants for 7 years. So
Yeah,
that
we did.
was, I saw a time. It was great and also horrible. It was like fun people, terrible jobs.
Yeah.
I gave tours. You'll love this. I did this for like 5 minutes. I gave tours of Fifth Ave. We started at the New York Public Library. We ended at Bergdorf's.
Swanky.
And talk about making shit up. I'd be like, and this is the dress that Valentino designed for Jackie O during this and that. I would just make shit up. No one even spoke English on my tours. I was
Yeah.
like, they don't fucking care. I'd be
Yeah.
like, and the designer of, this window, like I would just bullshit. I made no money doing it. It wasn't really fun. That's why I only did it for like a couple months, but that was my only tour guide.
And people don't get it. Once you get a taste of that restaurant life, it's a dark, twisted world. But once you walk out of a lunch rush and you've got $250 cash in your pocket,
Yeah.
and you're like, I've got 30 minutes to go chug 2 Diet Cokes,
Yep.
a ham sandwich from a bodega, and smoke 2 cigarettes, and I'm clocking back in for a family meal and doing it all over again.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You'll they just don't get it. It's
I
an
ran
addiction.
the door too, which was crazy here in New York
Yes.
City. I
And
ran
what
the
restaurant did you work
fucking
at?
Door.
Can you
I
say?
worked. Sure, yeah. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I ran the door at Spice Market.
Oh,
for
I
Jean
remember
George.
Spice Market.
In the meat packing, I saw a lot of shit go down there.
Yeah.
And people would palm me all the time. I'd make
Yeah.
cash at that door. And then I worked for Laurent Tourondale. I worked for BLT Fish, BLT Steak, BLT Prime, and I worked for Tom Colicchio at Kraft, Los Angeles, where it was a time.
You were in the fine dining space. You get it.
Yeah. It was hard to get out. I had to make a rule for myself. I there was an age where I said, I'm not working in restaurants past this age. And let me tell you how many times my mom would call me because I'd be like crying poor.
Yep.
And she'd be like, you have the best restaurant resume in New York City. And I'm like, I can't print it out. I said to myself I wouldn't do it.
Yep.
I'm not printing it out.
When I moved to LA, and we talked about this briefly offline, but when I moved to LA and I came with this New York experience,
Yeah.
I could not get
That's-
a hosting. I had been a bar manager.
Yeah.
I could not get a dishwasher position because I didn't have fake tits
It's
and wasn't a porn
crazy.
star. And I remember going to interviews dressed professionally, like a nice blazer,
Right.
cute
Yeah.
loafers, like very cute. And then I would walk in and it would just be all supermodels. And they were like, we understand that you basically worked at like La Bernadette, but we cannot hire you
Yeah.
because we don't see your areolas.
That's
and
so
moving
wild.
to LA,
That's
and
true.
that's why I ended up working at Soul Cycle because the irony of me going from like working in fine dining to working at a gym.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was the only job I could get, and I took a pay cut. I ended up working like $12.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get a restaurant job.
So
in
crazy.
LA.
It's
Did you
robbery,
ever live in LA?
I lived 9 months, but it was a short stint. I was in, I was out. I was
But her
barely
children
there.
are still there.
Drizzly.
I was in, I was out. I was drizzly.
I've lived there twice now.
I just didn't, I didn't give it enough time, I think, to love it. So when I was there, I was working at Comedy Central for the digital team. It's since been totally liquidated or disbanded, dismantled. Everyone was fired.
I'm
Just
starting to
35 bucks.
notice a trend here. Whatever you guys are involved in kind of dissipates.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we see that. We saw that one out.
Cool. Glad you came on the
Dying.
cruise. Let's see
Yeah,
what's
me
happening
too.
in the future.
No.
Let's go for
Yeah.
2027.
That was successful.
Yeah. But that was, what was I saying?
Oh, LA.
LA, yeah. Short stint.
Short
Yeah.
stint.
And I didn't really get the vibe of it. I think I couldn't have funny. There wasn't enough quick. When you come from New York, there's grit.
Yeah.
Everybody is quick. They get your jokes. And I think I talk really fast. And I was talking over people's heads in LA. The girls were like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
What sign are you?
I feel like I turn into LA when I'm there, and I turn into New York when I'm here. I can change. I can get off the plane and be like, I'm gonna do nothing today. It feels fucking awesome.
Great. Oh, I very much so feel that. I'm a chameleon wherever I go, and I am able to be the biggest cunt when I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
New York, you sweating through Times Square like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
all
like,
this.
we gotta be there.
Yeah, you get to LA and you're like, I'm so sorry, I'm not staying at the Waldorf Astoria.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you want me to drive to Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
do
It's
it.
just but you have to lean in. It's survival.
Yeah.
I think when you're in our kind of business, like you're constantly having to change and adapt and like,
So true.
It's so Drizzly gets it.
I get it. I know I left LA, but I get it.
I don't even know
So
what the fuck
damn
I'm talking
true.
about, but man,
My shit's in LA.
Drizzly is my hype girl. Just, you're so true. It's so true.
That's what everyone says. I have a very reactive face. You know,
You
that,
do.
that one reactive friend where they're just like,
Yeah.
"Girl, yes, yes."
She is a good hype woman.
I'll hug
What
you
is your
up.
Enneagram? Have you ever done that test?
I mean, there's only 4 letters you can be, and I always fudge them up. I'm FNRP.
Oh, I don't even know what this
ARP.
is.
Wait, no.
Isn't that your
Come again? H.
No.
Isn't that your Asian type?
I'm HPV.
IBS.
NLP.
No, anagram. I hope I'm saying it right. Enneagram is your like personality style test.
Oh.
I thought it was 5 letters, initials that mean something.
No, you get like a number. Like I'm a 7.
Oh my God, I have no
So
idea.
take this
Oh,
test.
you got to take this test. I would
Okay.
be curious to see what you are. I mean, obviously both what you are.
What do we think? I don't know actually.
What
all
is
the
Let me
the
pull up the
7?
fucking
Can you give
chart.
us like?
The enthusiast.
Okay,
The
okay.
reason I said that is because I'm very similar. Like we're very much so like cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
I love hyping up. I'm like, what are we doing? What do we
Right,
want to
right.
do? Let's
Right.
fucking go.
Let's go.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm
Yeah.
related to a serial killer, so I'm
Yeah.
allowed. I'm allowed.
So you're a -3.
Yeah, I didn't chart, guys.
Anna's very good at figuring out the plan and then
Yeah.
and then executing. She's an executor, which goes hand in hand with the
Thank you.
with the serial killer.
Yeah, it really does.
I can execute.
Wow.
That
great,
came out wrong.
Drizzly, great point. That is, but see,
executor.
that's a good thing. And that's why you
Yeah.
make a good team. That's why Tina
true.
and I make a good team.
Yeah.
You need one person in the group who is so shameless and so fearless. In a sense, it's also delusion.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, Delulu.
You I throw caution to the wind. I'm like, we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And then Tina can come in with like, no, but actually these contracts have to
Yeah.
get signed.
Right.
Or this is the flight. Like you need somebody else who's equally as creative but can help just like get it across the finish line.
I don't know that
Definitely.
I'm that together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But I'm together.
I mean, you can't have
Absolutely.
dairy or gluten. So
Thank
I mean,
you so much. Yeah. So I am just
holding it
wasting
down.
way
You're
over here on steak.
Listen, I've been on every kind of elimination diet. I get riddled with eczema. I used to be an IBS warrior, so I get it.
Yeah.
The only reason I was even teasing you about it
Love
is 'cause I get
IBS
it.
warriors. Yeah.
I mean,
forever.
It's literally you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
I had a colonoscopy at 18,
my
and
God.
they wheeled me in, and they
God.
said, "Why you're our youngest patient of the day?" And I said, "Yeah, it's been a real shitty one. What do you expect?" They only
Pun
found one
intended.
polyp.
We're like, hey, she's good.
They found one polyp and a healthy colon. God bless.
know.
But
do you
you
want
know,
from
when
me?
you're going through that, it's no joke.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to tell people what you're going. I don't even know what you're.
I'm good, actually. Yeah. Today I'm
Great.
good.
We
I'm
like
good.
that. Yeah.
IBS warrior sounds so nice. Also, I want to be an IBS warrior.
It's
Warrior.
not fun. I'll say I'd rather be a non-IBS warrior than an IBS.
Oh, I was going for warrior
Like
fighter.
she beat it. Because for me, I'm an eczema survivor. Like it's still
Oh.
actively happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm surviving it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well,
a
maybe no,
SIBO
then I would be a
survivor.
warrior because I'm actually still in the battle.
Right.
So actually, you're a survivor. You're
Thank
an
you.
IBS survivor.
There's everybody's labeling everything now, which
Oh, the fucking labels.
with the labels, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always a name for something.
And everybody thinks, that I love when somebody's just being a cunt and they're like, well, it's like because I'm on the spectrum. It's like, no,
Right,
you're
right.
actually just you're using that as an excuse.
Yes.
Everyone is starting to really
Yeah.
therapize everything and use everything as an excuse.
They are. They really are.
And I listen,
God's
under
honest.
my Enneagram, which is a 7, I am also a deep empathizer, but there are some days where you go, I don't know if you've been tested. I think you're just being a bitch today. You're just getting away saying whatever you want.
Yeah, it's safe to say that you're on some type of spectrum.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, not to bring this back to the cruise, but to bring it back to the cruise.
Yeah.
Someone the other day was like, I saw you were on the cruise, and they didn't even say your name. They go, with the love it on the spectrum people. I go, who?
I go, was this the same?
For Tanner's mom
Yes,
and
yes.
sister. They go, I can't believe you were on the cruise. I go, it wasn't their cruise. And they go, yeah, but they were on it. I saw their Instagrams and
But
you were
know
on the
what?
same cruise.
You know what? It was their cruise.
It was their cruise,
And
yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
love. And
It
that's
is-
what I love. can I tell you that interview that I did with Connor and Tanner on my podcast? It was the best conversation I've had. And I'll tell you why.
I loved it.
Because it was so pure and honest. And it was just like, it's kind of like talking to you two gals. But it was just like immediately whatever they thought, it was just said. And I was like, this is the most honest, bullshit-free conversation I have had in 5 fucking years of doing this podcast.
They don't have a filter. They'll tell you the answers that you want to hear. It's so true. It's so good.
And I always think of like dating. Dating would be so much better. Like you watch Love on the Spectrum and everyone's just to the point, right?
Yes. Brutally honest.
You sit down, it's like, Drizzly, what are you into? You know what I mean? You name 3 things that you like. Yeah. And if I don't like those things, I'm out. I'm going to a different cocktail table.
On to the next.
Or
I'm whipping out my Game Boy.
Yeah.
I'm playing video games. I'm not even going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think if people who are, I guess, what do you say, like they're neurotypical, if straight men could just throw their cards out on the table, a lot less women would be murderers.
Yes.
You know?
Very, very honest. We would be chopping dicks off.
Instead, these men, they don't lay it out on the table what they want the very first 5 minutes of the relationship or the date. And then you get 7 years down the road, no ring. And the next thing you know, you're on an episode of Snap, you know?
I think girls too also should not, like, I have a lot of friends and I'm like, they don't say what they want, you know, and they play like, no, I'm chill. I just want to like hook up. And it's like, no, you don't. You want a relationship. So say you want a relationship. Say what you're looking for in a relationship. I think putting it all out there and being honest, I always thought was the best way to do it.
Sit down at the Raising Cane's in Times Square and say, you know what I want? I want dong every night.
Let's break bread over that.
I want to be on your insurance policy. I want your mother never to show up at holidays.
And I want a fucking house in the Hamptons.
And I want a house in the Hamptons. Can you provide that? And he's like, yeah, you want some extra Raising Cane sauce? And you're like, I fucking do. Period.
That's my man.
That's my man. That's my man. So I feel like if y'all are down, do you want to put on a wig? Do you want to be somebody else? You don't have to be someone else.
We love to be someone else.
If you would want to just be yourself, I also want you to know that this is a safe space.
I love you.
Safe space.
Thank you for saying that. I love that.
See how real this combo is? God, we're being real.
We just had a whole real convo about the Paul Rubens documentary, which I'm like, have you seen it yet? The Pee Wee Herman documentary? You're going to die.
Well, you know, I was the Pee Wee Herman kid. Like, that was my favorite show. Oh my God. And every day
I had the VHS tapes.
Of course. I would come home from school. I'd sit down and watch Pee Wee Herman. Cherry, the talking chair, was like I imagine like being on set, sitting on this creepy chair that talked. And that was... Yeah, Pee Wee was my everything.
It just came out this week on HBO. It's amazing. But
and I love him because he's filthy a little bit.
He's so fucking funny.
Yeah, so funny.
But I was saying, like, he had this whole complex because he was always Pee Wee Herman and not himself, and he wanted to be himself in a lot of things, and he'd act, and they didn't even know what movies he was in or what he was writing because he was like 2 different people. So it's funny. We were going through I was like, I love that she's letting us be ourselves
right,
too.
Right. Because so often we hide. Not even, I wouldn't use the word hide, but I definitely always tried stand up, and because you have to be so vulnerable, I think that I shied away from that. And I feel more comfortable with a wig on because you can totally be somebody else and create a whole story around them. Yeah. But really, when you get down to it, like, I do want to be able to develop more of like being that vulnerable side of myself. But
and people don't necessarily know us, like who we are, which
they're
is
always
funny.
asking how Louie is and never how Dre is.
Wow.
You know? Damn. Louie's great, by the way. We love it.
Wait, we do have
let's
to
put a
talk
wig
about
on.
that. Yeah, but get a wig on. Get a wig on.
Get a wig
Whoever
on.
you want to be.
What do you want to do?
Whoever you want to be.
Do you want to do Parker and Jennifer? Do you want Chris and Court? Who do you want?
Who do you want? Who do y'all?
Who do you want?
Do you want cruise recap? Do you want to get down in Calabasas?
I mean, I have a lot of questions for Court and Chris, but whatever you want to do. You can do cruise.
Court and Chris.
We have the new wigs.
Now, Teresa's a little raggedy. She's been through a lot. Okay, we got Jennifer, but this is honestly your natural hair. This is the Jennifer with a little bang.
Parker Posey wig you can wear.
You do a little Parker Posey.
I mean, give me Jennifer just for funsies.
Yeah, just for funsies.
You know, on my first tour, I used to open as my real estate agent character, Brenda Carlisle. I opened as her.
Yeah,
for myself.
I opened as Joan Rivers for myself.
And then literally people would come to the meet and greets afterwards like, your opener was like, people who did not know Brenda, they were like, your opener was fucking nuts. I was like, it was me.
Where'd you find her?
Yes. I'm just gonna be an elevated version of myself.
Absolutely.
Oh God. I got new hair from Boho Brit. Y'all, this is an exciting moment. We are doing a quick pivot. Drizzly and Anna, they had to run because, you know,
Raising Cane's
Raising Cane's is calling them. Actually, Boar's Head called Drizzly and wanted to do a quick brand deal, so they had to run. But right now, it's very exciting. Who do we have in? Who came into the studio for now?
Listen up, doll.
Well, it's the Dolskis.
I just flew in on the helicopter parked above the, what's it called? The Marriott Marquis.
Kris Jenner, how are you?
Hi, doll. I'm great. How are you?
We got to talk about you. Your face looks fantastic.
Thank you so much.
You look so great. What did you have done?
Well, let me just say, I let Stephen Levine do whatever the hell he wanted to me.
I think I need to call Stephen Levine this week.
You really
because
do.
I got to get a redo on my neck, and and I just feel like I would like a consultation.
He's really a magician. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying shit about me, and I'm saying,
You've never looked better. What are you talking about?
thank you. I mean, I already did a facelift on television. you know, you got to up it every 10 years or so. So I don't know what they're all shocked about.
No, you look fantastic, and I like the long bang.
Thank you.
I want to ask real quick, how was Lauren Sanchez's bachelorette party in Paris this past week?
It was amazing,
Yeah.
sweetie. It was really special. I went out there to Paris, okay, with my gummies, ready to ride a bull, you know, for I've been to a bachelorette party before. And she said, absolutely not. Dolls, we are going on the Seine. We're going to have pounds of caviar and champagne. And, you know, it was really a special time. We got nice photos, tamed.
Tamed.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy hanging out with Katy Perry?
Oh, Katie is such a doll.
Oh,
she
I love
is
that.
so fun. I watched her shoot up into space.
And then I saw a quick, one might say an emotional turn, a hard pivot. Then after the bachelorette party, you had to...
The trial.
You had to testify
Yeah.
for the trial for Kimberly's, robbery.
I really did. Yeah, I wore a tie. I you know, Tom,
Your Honor, I'm wearing a tie.
I wanted to go in full business. You know, they think of us, they think of me as the face of aloe. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. I had to be serious. And we won, you know, we
I'm
won.
so happy.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm
it
so
was
happy you
really
won.
great. And, you know, I told Kimberly, I said, I think you should wear $3 million worth of jewels to go into there to show them that they didn't hurt you. You rose above this,
Because
right?
you know what, baby? She's a firework.
There you go.
There you
wow.
go.
Yeah. Oh my
Well,
God.
the work looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Court, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, great.
How are
She's
you?
such a bitch.
She's such a bitch, full of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I can't.
Courtney, what's going on? How are the kids? How's Travi? How's your very, one might say, lost in translation, stepdaughter Alabama Barker?
You know, Bama is really just doing what she wants.
Yeah.
She's busy on the TikToks.
Uh-huh.
She's getting in fights with Bad Baby.
She sure is.
But I love it.
Okay, great.
I
Parent
love
of
it.
the year.
Yeah. I mean, she's rocking it. I've just been busy breastfeeding, being a mom, you know?
Yes, being
Sipping
a mom.
on that machi mach.
Sipping on the machi mach. Now, have y'all seen each other in a minute? Because I feel like you've been...
I try not to.
Okay, I
Wow.
figured. Right.
No,
Yeah.
we have. She sends me all these Lemmy products, and I've never tried.
No support. But I bet you support your daughter Kylie and whatever she's doing.
Kylie, I always support Kylie. I really do. But I did take in Kendall and Kimberly's faces to Stephen.
You didn't use my face. I'm the most interesting to look at. Don't forget.
I told him, I said, my Courtney went to UCLA.
Yeah.
Smarty.
It is wild that you are technically on paper the brightest of them all.
Yeah, college
I am.
grad doll.
Yeah,
College grad, yeah.
The only one to graduate college?
Yeah.
I think Rob did a short stint. But
I
we
don't-
Hey, Rob, where is Rob?
We
But
can't,
where is Rob? Where in the world is Robert Kardashian
Yeah.
Jr.?
can't find him. But let me tell you.
No, we
support
literally
him.
never
If
can.
you go to Neiman Marcus, you can buy Arthur George
They're
socks.
still selling them.
Absolutely,
Wow.
doll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we
like
have a Memorial Day sale.
Buy two, get one free.
Court, do you have any promo codes for us for Lemmy?
So yeah, you're gonna want to do Lemmy
Uh-huh.
25 for
Okay.
25% off,
Okay.
and then Let Me Freebie And that one will get you just one free bottle.
Okay, of
Whatever
any of the
you want.
products.
We've got Let Me Purr,
Yeah.
Let Me Curb, Let Me Dish, Let Me Stop, Let Me Roll,
Oh, I can't wait for Let Me Stop.
Let Me Drop.
Yeah, what
Like
is
it's
Let Me
hot.
Stop?
Yeah.
Let
Just
me
stop everything. Stop, drop, and roll.
just whatever you're doing, just take a moment and stop, because everything is go, go, go.
So is it fentanyl? What is it?
So it's amazing. So it's
I'd
just
love
a
to try that.
powerful little compote of just a dash of that pink dust. That 2C.
Yeah, the
And then
2C.
you
Oh,
got-
I know about the 2C.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know about that 2C. And then you got just a hint of the Fenty.
Okay.
And then a little bit of weed to even it all out.
And that just stops you in your tracks.
Yeah, and a little Addy just to lift you back up in
I love
case we need to resuscitate,
I don't know what you just said. You said so many abbreviated words.
You're cool, jeans.
So, Chris, how was the recovery from the full upper face and lower neck lift?
Oh, it was great. It was like 6 days.
Yeah.
It really was. I went to St. Bart's.
Nice.
I just kind of relaxed. I really just took a couple days off.
Good for you.
Corey was there. He made me a couple cocktails. We met with Dolce & Gabbana, obviously. We did light work.
Light work.
Light work.
And and I do notice I saw the connection happening because I actually was at the Vanity Fair Oscars party.
Oh, yeah.
When Lindsay Lohan came out with her new face, and she also went to your doctor, and I saw you all chit chatting in the corner, and that's how I knew it was only a matter of time before
Yeah.
she gave you the number, the reference to call in and get first in line.
It was great. Yeah, I guess she's, what do you call it, influencing for
She's
Stephen.
influencing
yeah,
for
she's
Stephen.
doing a brand deal. It was great. Yeah, I mean, I think I got like 11% off, but I'm talking about it more. So we're hoping, 10
love
years.
Now, Corey, you're
Yeah.
more of a natural girly these days.
I really am. I'm embracing the curves. Travis
Yeah.
loves when I'm a little chunker,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
but I'm not even. I'm letting myself live,
yeah, just live.
Scott wanted me to just live on air, and it was just stifling.
We should it was Scott's birthday. We should wish Scott a happy birthday.
Why do you give a rat's ass when it was
He has
Scott's
family.
birthday?
He gave me 3 beautiful grandchildren, and I love Scott.
When is his birthday?
Yesterday. You should know. You dated for like 40 years.
I know, but he just didn't make me happy.
But you know what? She was on Let Me Stop, and so
I was
she had to
on.
stop. She had to stop right there.
You got to give me at least 2 to 3 business days to get back on
You
that.
gotta let me go, doll.
Let me go.
Well, I don't want to let y'all go, but I just need you to know,
What a
Courtney, great to see you. Chris, you've never looked better.
Oh my God, thank you. You look fabulous. Can
Thank
I
you.
just say, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Thank
What are you
you.
doing? The Beacon Theater?
The Beacon Theater.
Holy shit, doll.
It's very exciting. We'll obviously be partying afterwards. But I just want to say I love you both dearly. Thank you for being here.
Love you.
Where can everybody find you and your counterparts, your alter egos?
Well,
Online.
I love Anna Roisman. Anna Roisman everywhere, all day, every day.
Great.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Poosh.com. Let me stop. Andrea Lopez Comedy. I've got to get a better Instagram handle. It's just like, the obvious. Andrea Lopez Comedy on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, and Big Wigs.
And Big Wigs
Follow Big
Podcast.
Wigs.
Hopefully coming to Dear Media soon.
Big Wigs, a subsidiary of Heather McMahan's channel.
Yeah, we need it to
Period.
be under the Heather McMahan. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, sure. We got to make that
Absolutely.
happen. We'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, please follow these amazing gals in comedy who I just love and adore. And if you're on the cruise, you already know how fantastic they are. But go to their shows, follow everything that they're doing. Also, we offline at some point, we're going to have to catch up on Ilaria Baldwin.
I love, Ilaria.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys shooting something soon?
TBD.
TBD.
EFG.
But as always, you guys know that I just want to introduce you to the best people in the biz because these gals are just fucking crushing it. Y'all are so talented, so funny. And
Love
I think
you.
we should go have a glass of wine. What do you think
Love
about that?
you. Love
love
it.
you, Heather.
Love
Okay,
it.
I love you girls.
I love you so
I'll
much.
see you
This
guys
is
on the
making
next
my life.
episode. As always, you can call into the hotline 800-213-7503. We'll see you on the next episode of Absolutely Not. Ciao, Bella. Arrivederci. Bye.